Oh, can I rip the plastic off? Or do you want to do it?
Yeah, you can do it. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Tin Shed TV, the first one for 2025. Happy New Year, hope you had a good break. So what we're going to do today is basically finalise the last little bits of maintenance on this, get it ready for the dyno, a bit of wiring, and yeah, we'll hopefully be back there next episode and finalise a bit of stuff. But before that, I'm going to fix a coolant leak, fix a intercooler leak, do some wiring, finalise a little bit of cruise control stuff, and then hopefully everything will be done, dusted, and it's just power now, just power. So let's just get into it. So we got a coolant leak in one of our water pipes down the bottom. Unfortunately, these things don't like heat. I don't have any brass ones to put in there, so I'm just going to replace it for the moment with another plasticky one. It's the one right down the bottom. So we'll do that. And my heater tap is leaking, so we're going to fix that as well. When me and Barry were doing the idle and lean cruise tune and everything, we noticed that it was even because there was an air pocket in the coolant system, but we were getting constant temperatures of 100 degrees on the highway, which is not good. We want that to at least be in the 90s in the highway. So obviously we're going to bleed it, get all the air out of it, but I'm also going to trial this new Hypercool supercoolant. It's basically the same thing as water wetter. It's like a water softener, allows more heat to transfer into the coolant, then add the coolant. It works best with little or no glycol, but unfortunately you have to have glycol for the boiling effect. So the good thing is, because we run the green coolant, it is a very little glycol in the water compared to the red coolants. Red coolant's 50-50, where the green coolant's about 35%. So that will work a lot better. So we'll be able to get some heat out of the engine. That one, just so I can see the busted one. Get that out of the way. Alright, here's the busted one right down the bottom. Right down the bottom. I might have to jump the car for this one. And this is the main reason why they all break. As you can see, a nice split right there on the inside. They always break there. Oh well, in bin. Alright, all back together, throw some water in it. Alright, I've been able to wire in a on-off switch on the keypad for an intercooler pump, so I can turn it on and bleed it. So it's got a massive air bubble, so now I'm just going to take that off, suck the air out, and let's see if there's any leaks. Come on, fill the air out. Turn it off, put it back on. So that's down and a half. Full again. Double it back up. Going to check if there's any water leaks at the front. I hear water, but I don't see no water. Which is good. Go underneath. hardly, I think that's, is that a leak from before or is it still leaking? It is very minimal from before. Very minimal. I'll take that until I can figure out a metal version. I might just make like a little L steel pipe that does that, just to remove all these bends and little hoses. They'll make life so much easier. But it's currently New Year shut down, so nothing's happening in this period, so this will do for the moment. I'm happy with that. No more crack pipe.
You don't have a lucky crack pipe?
Job number 2 is grabbing our old heater tap out because it's leaking from that area and replacing it with a brand newie. Cheers to Repco. So I'll get them swapped around and back in, and hopefully no more leaky down the left hand side. As you can see, the reason is the barb was covered in rusty sediment from pre-radiator flush, and it's just been leaking underneath it. So get rid of that. We're going to put a C-clip like that, so a spring clamp like that over that one, and we'll all be good from now on. Alright, so that all done. Front right hand side of the car is all jacked up, make it the highest point. Funnel on. Chuck a whole bottle of super concentrate in. Blah 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 blah. We left over coolant. Now, alright, the best part of this is I can control the electric water pump with an override switch. So, I can get most of the water moving around and get all the air bubbles out early enough because I don't have a thermostat. Now the good thing about having an override when it's cold is I can move the water around, yet the water is not expanding, so it's not gonna try to spew it all out. So it's just whatever we can fit in is whatever we can fit in. And I'm gonna make sure it's topped up, and we can manually override, because we don't vacuum at the moment. We can do the heater, which opens that up. You should see hopefully some air pop out shortly. We're flushing the whole system. The only downside is it's going to kill your battery, so you got to make sure you got a good source. All right, so the car's been here idling for about, I don't know, 20 minutes, half an hour. It's got temperature to her, and AC's been on the whole time, and we have not gone over 95 degrees Celsius, so I'm calling that a win. Well, she just cracked 96, but it hasn't moved in like 5 minutes, so I call that a win. It's cold in here, it's hot out here, but it hasn't cracked 100 degrees, which it couldn't do before, so we've done something. It is a little bit cooler and overcast today, but we're also in the shade when we did it, so it can idle and it can have AC now. Excellent. The only thing we need to test is make sure it doesn't get over 100 degrees on the highway. Hey guys, hope you've been liking the videos we've been making, and make sure you go over, hit the subscribe button and hit the bell icon to be notified when we drop new content weekly, fortnightly, or when we ever can. And make sure you go back and check any of our old videos that you've missed. Any new to the scene, you'll be able to get notified when we drop live streams and other content. 80% of you aren't subscribed, so make sure you go over and do that now. Right, so another day, some more, we'll stay on the wiring. So in the past, I've been trying to get the ABS module to work on behalf of the Haltech, with the wheel speed sensors. It hasn't been working, unfortunately. I did wire them around the wrong way first, and then it's still, the pulses aren't working in our favor all over the place. So what I've ended up doing is actually disconnecting the ABS, the wheel speed sensors from the ABS module altogether, because traction control will never be working with the actual brake side of it. So I basically just cut them all and just brought down a signal ground from the Haltech, and then that is going for the wheel speed sensor, and that's going to give us the correct reading. Excellent. That's done. Don't have to worry about that no more. And with our wiring, we've been able to wire in our traction control. So currently on, and now it's off. On, off. So the wiring works. We just got to figure out what it actually will do, but at least that part's done. It's a couple of days later, and I've finished all the wiring inside the car. It's all been tucked away up there. Now ignore that one because that's just our exhaust pressure sensor wire for testing, and then we just DC it when we're done. Anyway, but it's all done. All the wiring inside the car has been hidden away and cleaned up. Good. Except for the laptop. And the boots all looking nice and clean. Enough space in there to put my subs in when I eventually get around to it. The audio is going to be another section. So the only thing we have to do now is do the wiring for the dash. Now, I didn't want to remove the factory dash because it's a part of the car. It's got Monaro writing and on it and everything like that. But apart from everything working on there, I don't get any warnings. I don't get any like errors. I don't get a temperature because that temperature gauge goes through a serial like a serial thing that the Haltech can't talk to. I've looked at trying to get it to work with an Arduino, but it's a pain in the butt. So I binned the bullet. The reason why I also binned the bullet is, one, looking at the engine, looking at the temperatures, and I have an IC7, I just haven't put it in yet. So that's what we're going to look at doing today. And the rain is back. Screw you, Queensland weather. But anyway, I picked up the dash mold from Mako Motorsport. And I've got the Haltech there ready to go in. I've also planned my attack, which you should always do when wiring, so I know exactly where everything needs to go to, what the pin outs are, and what the pins are on the Haltech. So that's for me to do today, and what we'll start with is trying to get the actual cruise control wiring, because we're going to use the free inputs from the actual stalk and go into the actual Haltech. Go away, you goddamn frickin' rain. If I ever get a new shed, it's going to have installation and it's going to be sealed, so I don't have to listen to the outside. At least it's got TV. That's broken. Alright, so to replace the dash and do the wiring, we're going to first start by taking the actual cluster out, and as well the cover around this, so we can get to the connector behind the plastic. And to do that, you just got to take your one screw out the back, and then it's just literally a little clip where you just pull it forward and it falls out, and then you can take the top off. Then taking cluster out in a VY is so much easier than a VTVX. Literally 2 screws at the top, cover comes off, and then all you have to do is literally to take 1, 2, 3, 4 screws out and unclip the connector. Perfect. So it comes out. Really just one-handed. And then at the back, there's your clip, and there should be, you should feel like a little lever, and the lever just pops up. Oh, hopefully in the future I'll get probably something better than an IC7. So much wasted space. Maybe a UC10. therefore I can claim all the dials back again. But for the moment, you got to go in. And with the cover off, there's the connector we've got to aim for. So we're going to splice 3 wires into the blue, the 2 greys, and leave the pink the way it is because that's the power for the actual cruise. I keep all the offcuts of my my Haltech loom. Got 3 different coloured wires to choose from. Alright, and now we've tapped into our cruise control module. Wires go down. And then follows it up the conduit and then back out. So that part's done. We put the cover back on that, leave that alone. It's always good to make sure you document what colour wires you run, so at least we know that part. And now we can start tapping into the rest of the loom. And now all the wires are spliced into the instrument cluster loom. So we'll cut that there. I'll put my 34 pin connector on with the rest of it, and yeah, it should just work.
What are we doing, Ev?
Alright, so last night I finished the wiring. It's all there. It's all modular too, so I can disconnect it and go back to factory if I ever have to. But for the moment, we're just going to turn my windscreen wipers off. And so let's turn that on. What we need to do, we need to update the Haltech firmware because it's still running the old IC7 firmware, but I can already tell you the default ones already work. So that's off. So it's already doing that. But I think the negative, the high beam is around the wrong way because it's on. It doesn't need to be on because I got to switch polarities around. But at least everything's there, connected, running. So what we'll do, if we run in here, we'll update the firmware.
If you flipped your keyboard right over, we could turn it. It could look like a BYD screen where you could flip it.
Basically. What we got here? So I gotta do all this. But I'll be back shortly once it's all updated. Oh, no turning back now. Whoop. Oh, there is a way turning back. I didn't even hit the button.
Dickhead.
There we go. Well, need to update it, make sure it works. Alright, so another day and we're still having some teething problems. So what I have found out is when you connect up a aftermarket dash with a VY, the one thing we had issues with was we connected it up, the car ran absolutely crap, like poo, and I couldn't figure out what it was. And what it ended up being is the aftermarket dash does not tell the alternator how to put out a voltage properly. So what's happening is, even though we thought the dash was just a warning light for the alternator, it actually is a PWM controller, and it will actually put out a signal to the alternator to make it go to 13.7, 14 volts, etc. So what was happening was the alternator obviously wasn't producing enough voltage. The voltage then fell into a section of the Haltech which we don't really work in, like low to mid-range 11 volts. So the car ran absolutely poo because it hasn't been tuned in that area. The injected dead time was way out. And just by giving a little blip on the throttle, it brought the voltage back up to 14 and it ran perfectly. So, yeah. So what I've actually had to do is instead change it from an input style battery light now to a actual PWM controller and use the Haltech to control the alternator's voltage, which is better because we allow then to have a standard, like a stable 14.2, 14.3 volts, and that will keep the spark big, bright, and fix up a heap of issues in the meantime. So I'll now just go throw that in and we'll see how it looks. The other thing I hate is Haltech still haven't fixed the issue when you upgrade your dash to the new Nexus software, that you get 40, well, it was actually down from 40, it was 50 before, because errors, because it don't know what all the maximum and minimum values are for all these different channels, which should be done by default. Come on, Haltech, fix that, fix it, fix the bug. Huzzah! We fixed the alternator issue. So as you can see behind here, there is a big fat, where is it? There it is, behind all that wiring, a big fat 50 ohm resistor at 5 watts. It acts like a light bulb, and what it does now, just quickly turn it on, what you'll see is it will start at, I don't know how I'm going to hold this camera and if I can wedge it in here. There is 12.5 volts at the moment, and if I got again kill switch. Alright, so you can see it's 12.5, and I'll quickly turn it over. You'll see 11, and it's gone straight to 14. So it's working. Before it sat at 11. Before it sat at 11 volts and wouldn't go up. So now we're activating the alternator by making it's like a lamp or a globe or something, and that's telling it to go. So that's all done. That can go back in. That can all get tidied up, and we'll finish the last job for this thing before, Dyno Day. What are you seeing, Sean?
Fits in there alright. Fits in there pretty nice, doesn't it? Almost can't see it.
Almost.
Like sneaky. Oh, can I rip the plastic off? Or do you want to do it?
Yeah, you can do it.
I can do it. Ready? Haltech. For the latest updates, visit www.haltech.com.
Turn it on. Have a look.
Ooh. Pretty lights down there, pretty lights up there.
I wish I could make it green to match the dot, like the radio.
Alright. What does gear U mean? Unknown?
Yeah, I haven't set that up yet. It should be getting it from the actual ECU, but for some reason I gotta do it on the dash as well.
Doesn't know what gear we're in. That's right.
Well,
we're in neutral. Yeah, that idle's just sitting between 1 and 1.1. That's nice.
well, guess what?
Looks good. Looks good.
We have a date with the dyno.
Which one's the muffler button?
Third across on the top.
Sounds a bit shit when it's bouncing off a tin wall. It's very nice. That's the thumbnail.
Yeah.
Alright, cool. So
Alright. It's done. Ready to go to the dyno.
It's idling. It's idling quite smoothly. Alright.
Dyno day.
Send it.
Send it.
Send it, don't break it. And then no major works before now on Rocky.
Yep.
because I'm not doing 1 a.m. to 2 a.m. finishes.
No.
Cool.
Alright, so first things first. Chuck a hole. Oh, prick. Ow. That makes it easier.